Ashes2Ashes2 here, and I want to try something a little different. I want to do a build with me where I take you from like the beginning days of building to where I'm currently at. So what I'm showing you right now is how I prep my first object when I pull it out. I like to zero out the rotation because it makes it easier to move the object around, and or if I decide to script the object later, it just makes things a lot smoother. Today we're going to do some building, and if you didn't know by the title of this video, we're going to be doing build a box, and in this case it's mailboxes. Just gonna add some color here. And there you go. First mailbox down. This is where we all start, and let's take a copy to continue the journey. I like to add a little more detail to this initial sculpt, if you will. I think this is like the natural progression of a builder. You take that first iteration and then you kind of add on to it to see how it evolves. Then you make adjustments as things make sense and as things don't make sense. And we have our second mailbox. So like I'm saying, I'm building these from my idea of what a mailbox looks like. So it's a mental image. It's like a rough estimate of what a mailbox should look like, the basic shapes, the colors that, we associate with a mailbox, but not really specific. So let's continue here. I want to be more thoughtful on this next one. Want to consider the fact that as a mailbox, it does serve a purpose. It has a function. So let me build with that function in mind. It's got to be able to hold something. So this time around, we're going to have space for our mail. A lot of this building is a lot of trial and error, just figuring things out, seeing if that'll work. It doesn't, so let's nudge it that way. I'd like you to notice the precision I'm doing with this one more so than the earlier versions. Now with making things functional, you need to kind of like have segments of your object. So that's what I'm doing right now, making this more functional. I'm sure you've seen other people do this with doors. So now this will rotate and open and close like I need it to. The main compartment looks complete. What else do we need? Again, adding details. So this mailbox actually is being built from a memory, an actual mailbox that I have, experience with in the real world. So I'm trying to remember the details and add those in as they, come into my mind. Kind of take a step back and always look and think like, what am I missing? So again, going back to functionality, we need something to grasp to be able to open the actual mailbox. Definitely one of the things that I learned is the first object that you select is going to determine the bounding box that's created when you group objects together. So if your first object is weird and misaligned, it's going to affect the rest. There we go. Looks more functional to me. I think our color choices can actually bring things more into the realm of believability. Although there is a place for those different painting styles, for me right now, I'm very much into the more realistic muted colors. I think this is going to be the final piece I add to this mailbox, and kind of like following the theme of the other two, I'm going to make a flag for it. Give it some color and take a step back, check it out. Small adjustment. And here we go. So the quality of the mailbox has improved, and that's not to say the first two versions aren't usable. They definitely do have a purpose. So don't give up those type of boxes. They can be items that you set further in the background of your world to kind of add interest without wasting capacity. And I definitely use that. If it's not a focused object, I'll do a very minimal version of it. So let's do this last mailbox. I don't know about you, but I like the zen quality of building, like aligning things. Using tools like the array button. So satisfying. Need to build the container for the mail again. Let's see. Again, it's a lot of trial and error to see what's going to work. Is it making sense what I'm doing? Hopefully it will by the end. Yes, I take this much time to do the precision. And I think it shows in the end. There's no Z-ripping, if you've ever seen that. It looks like a flickering happening on the surface of objects. So aligning things like this helps prevent that. Yeah, I like it so far. And I'll just keep adding details until I feel like there's enough details to communicate what I want it to communicate. And then I can just, step away from it once I get to that point. I like to align stuff as best I can. I like to eyeball it most of the time. Sometimes when you're running low on objects, you can grab a handy text gizmo and use that to add details that you want. Gonna do a lot of freehanding on this. I think this was going to be the last bit of detailing. Again, if you have the capacity, it doesn't hurt to do little things like this where you create your custom font using the shapes, and it gives it definitely a higher end look is what I'll say. But like I said, it can be costly, so in moderation. Just duplicating and adjusting to change the actual numbers we see without having to recreate everything over again from scratch. And then it's also allowing me to keep them relatively the same size. Trying to be careful about that Z-ripping. There we go. Let me put a top on this. Close that up. And there we have it. It's our fourth mailbox. So I did do some search, and I think that we forget that this is like an open book test. We can totally go look for what we're trying to create, and it should help us create it more authentically and realistically. And yes, grouping objects is useful, but I would definitely go easy on it and try to avoid having groups inside of a group, because that will go against your capacity. But here you have it. These are my 4 mailboxes, kind of like a sped up journey of my building evolution. I think you can do this too, and I would love to see what everyone else does as far as what does a mailbox look like to you. I'm going to publish this world, and if you would like to add your mailbox to it, build your mailbox in a blank world. use the text gizmo to put your name on your mailbox. And if you could write like a little few sentences or something explaining your inspiration behind your mailbox, add me as a collaborator on that world, and I'll import it into this one, and we can all enjoy each other's mailbox. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in Horizon.